Simply put, I love Solver. I love the complexity. I love what it does. But you, on the other hand, might find it an absolute hangover. It's challenging. My job is to try to talk you into incorporating Solver along with the other tools within Excel for sophisticated and complex problem solving. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Brad Williams, Excel Prime. Don't be surprised if Solver cannot come up with a solution. You might end up building some rather complex problem solving through Solver, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There could be some constraints. We can look at some of these constraints that may solve the problem a little quicker or just may solve the problem. It's not unusual for Solver to report that it can't find a solution even when you know that one exists. Often you can change one or more of the Solver options and try again. When you click the options button in the Solver parameters dialog box, Solver options dialog box appears. Here it is. You can make these changes. This list describes Solver's options. Constraint precision specifies how close the cell reference and constraint formulas must be to satisfy a constraint. This is rather accurate precision. You can change this. The higher that number, in other words, fewer decimals, makes it easier for Solver to come up with a solution. Use automatic scaling. Use when the problem involves large differences in magnitude when you attempt to maximize a percentage. For example, by varying cells that are very large. So iteration results. Instruct Solver to pause and display the results after each iteration by selecting this checkbox. That will slow the process down. But if you want to see it, check it. Ignore integer constraints. When this checkbox is selected, Solver ignores constraints that specify that a particular cell must be an integer. Using this option may allow Solver to find a solution that can't be found otherwise. Again, if you have this constraint to a huge number, you check off this integer. In other words, it doesn't have to solve to this precision, just to integer precision. It may satisfy the constraints. Max time, you can specify in seconds. I've had Solver run for hours trying to solve a problem. You can put 10,000 seconds, which is not out of reach. 5,000 seconds. Again, it depends on how complex you want to build this thing. Think about max times, iterations, enter the maximum number of trial solutions that you want. You can put 5,000, 3,000, 1,000, 500. That means how many times you want this thing to just recycle over and over and over. So you can put max in iterations. You may run into a loop. In other words, Solver will just go through and indefinitely because it can't break out of a loop. Putting max time in iterations may solve that. And you can rerun Solver. If it finds a partial solution, you can rerun it and it will work off of that, the latest problem, and try to resolve it from there in steps. Max subproblems, use this for complex problems. Specify the maximum number of subproblems that may be explored. And then max feasible solutions. Use this for complex problems. Specify the max number of feasible solutions that may be explored. Again, you can put limitations. Brad Williams, Excel Prime, out. Williams out.